Hi, I'm Adam Grant. I'm the lead attorney here at STONEWOOD Law Group. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do, how we help clients, and how we're always there for your family. We service everyone, all of Southern California, families, businesses, individuals, couples. So estate planning is a very essential tool that we focus on here at STONEWOOD Law Group. We want to ensure that you do things right the first time, that you don't do things on your own and come back to us saying you didn't fund the trust, you didn't have the walkthrough that you needed or the explanation. We do estate planning, we do trust administration, conservatorships, supplemental needs trusts. We provide very careful instructions so the client knows exactly what to do, how to style their assets, how to approach the bank. In fact, the clients don't even have to explain things to these institutions. We make it simple enough that they can just give a letter to the institution, the bank representative, whoever it be, and they know exactly what to do. This effectuates all of the transfers into your trust, and to the extent your assets are in that trust, you can avoid probate. Why we stand out? Well, we're young. We have a lot of clients who reach out because their attorneys have passed away or they're retiring. It's an older field, and you want to have someone who's young, who can relate to your family, who can be there for your children and your grandchildren and administer the trust when it comes time, knowing your true wishes and intent. So we're here to walk you through those processes, make sure your trust is properly funded, make sure you have the right assets going into the trust, that everything is assigned to the trust, and that's why it's better to work with a professional. It's probably one of the most important things you can do during your lifetime. You've earned all these assets, you have a home, you have valuables, you want to make sure your family gets them, and most importantly, you want to avoid probate in the process. We are there, we're patient, we're accessible, we're affordable, and most importantly, we have that youth and vitality. If something happens to you, we're there for your kids, we're there for your grandkids, and that's the real purpose for us being here, is to help you and your family preserve your legacy. It's going to be worth it because this is time well spent. You should consider how your assets are going to go to your family, who's going to run your estate, who's going to be the trustee, who's going to be the beneficiaries, who's going to receive your assets. And of course, you can come back to us in the future, we can make changes, we can restate your trust, we can amend it as needed so that it's always in line with your wishes. We'll be there to administer your trust, explain your wishes, ensure there's no family infighting, ensure everything's private and kept out of the court purview and outside of probate. Now in probate, which is something we also do, that's where we look to a will, or if there's no will, then you go through normal probate. Probate is a very scary term. You've probably seen it in films, and if you don't know it, you should be scared. Why? It's expensive. No one wants to be there. Probate is going to take money away from your family. It's going to extend the time that you can access real estate or property that's owned by the family. It may cause family infighting, and there may be a lot of professionals involved. So the estate will lose a ton of money in the process. The court decides who gets what, and ultimately you might not get a lot, if anything. You can avoid that by putting your assets into a trust. And there are a few types of trusts, but we focus on both revocable living trusts for families, couples, individuals, whoever it be, but also supplemental needs trusts. These trusts are designed for individuals who receive government benefits, but want to ensure that their program doesn't get disqualified by one of their income or properties or assets. What we do is we build an irrevocable trust that preserves those assets, and as long as it's followed correctly, you can preserve your government eligibility requirements by putting your assets, income, etc. into a separate pot that doesn't count for yourself. Disability is very important. People want to make sure they get assistance where needed. If they have income, they might lose that eligibility. If you put it in an irrevocable trust, known as a supplemental needs trust, that trust can then protect those benefits, and if you follow the rules, the government doesn't claw back from those programs. Now, trust administration is another thing we do. So we focus on winding down a trust or working with beneficiaries and trustees to administer the trust and follow the wishes of the person who set it up. That's the grantor, the settlor, or the trustor. So we work with both the clients setting up the estate plan, comprehensive estate plans, and with trust administration. When it comes time that person has passed, administering the trust pursuant to their wishes. Here at STONEWOOD, we focus on that very sensitive approach, and we walk families through distributing the final assets or working out the final distribution of the estate. Estate planning is very complex. It's a big field. There's a lot of variables, but we focus on what's appropriate to the client. So that means powers of attorney, advanced healthcare directives, HIPAA releases, perhaps a nomination of guardianship or conservator. We focus on what the client needs, and we get ahead of new and emerging technologies, so how you transfer your data to people once you pass. We'll go through all of that and make sure that you are covering things because you don't know what you don't know. That's why we're here. We're going to fill in those blanks. We're going to explain how the power of attorney and advanced healthcare directive are going to be there when you are in the hospital, you can't make financial or medical decisions. You now have an agent who can step up to the plate. Most people assume it's their wife. it's their child. You cannot sign for any of those parties if they are over the age of 18. It's very important to get your wife, your spouse, or the person you want to be your agent in place in case something does happen to you. And that's for anyone over the age of 18. But we have the vitality, we have the focus, we have the drive, we have the patience, and we're accessible. We pride ourselves on our 24-hour response time. In all of our engagement letters, you'll see that if you give us a call, we'll get back to you within 24 hours. We're always on top of your matter. We'll always give you an update on where things are. And if you don't hear from us, you call us, you always get a call back. Now, the costs of maintaining trusts are relatively small, if anything. You can simply set them up. You can put LLCs in them, which do have some operating costs. You can get creative, but in the end, you will be grateful that you've done this estate planning. In addition, we have things like general assignments of all property. We make sure that everything you have goes to the people you want it, avoiding probate in the process. Lastly, we do conservatorships. Conservatorships are when you need help for a loved one, a family member who can't take care of themselves or needs further assistance or might do damage to themselves. So this involves taking away someone's constitutional rights, which is why it's a big deal. You can become a conservatorship of the person, which is of their medical decisions, of the estate, which is over their financial decisions, or both. And that will give you control to the extent you petition the court for things like their ability to vote, their ability to marry, their ability to enter into contracts, to take their own medication. You get certain control so that you can help that person and also ensure they avoid hurting others or themselves. It's a lot, and estate planning is essential, but with that little commitment up front, you'll have that peace of mind knowing that if something ever happens to you, you and your family are taken care of. You don't have to worry about excess costs and probate draining the estate. You'll get exactly what you want to the people you want it. STONEWOOD Law Group is a very client-focused firm. We would love the opportunity to help you and your family and be there in the future. Give us a call.